Hello everyone. So welcome to one more solution to the email validation where the first character has to be an A. The second and onwards characters can be alphabets, digits, underscores, followed by @ sign, followed by any number of alphabet characters, followed by the .com. Now we will need to declare a few variables, a whole list of variables actually. So let us go ahead and first identify what all we need. So the first thing I'll need to know is the length of the whole string because I need to extract the last four characters at some point. I will be taking this out as a substring and this also as a substring and this also as a substring, which means that I will need three variables to store the three sections or substrings from the whole email string. Apart from that, I will need to know the length of each of these. So I will need N1 and N2. So apart from this, I will need to know the location of the @. So let me take the variable L. And for looping, I am going to use I and I will reuse I. I will need X to extract one character at a time. Now I will need to take one variable which will count how many alphabets, digits, or underscores are there. So let me just write in as counter for username, taken as 0 initially. And for this one, counter of domain. So I'll take counter of domain and 0 initially. And apart from this, if I need a few more variables, we'll go ahead and write them later on. So first thing is, let us find the length of the string. So my assumption here is that the email would be entered in an uppercase. If not, then you can add in one statement here after this line, a is equal to a dot to uppercase. So my coding will be used for the uppercase assumption of all the alphabets. So that's the first thing. And next thing I'll do is to find the length of, no, I'll find out where the character @ is. Now, again, I'm making an assumption at this point, not to complicate the code, is that there is an @ and there is one and only one @ and that it is not in the beginning and not at the end, right? So it is in the proper location. So the format is correct as of now. That is the assumption. So once I have the location of @, then I can go ahead and safely extract each of the substrings. So from the 0th location, I will extract L characters. If L is the position of @, it also implies there are L characters before @. So for S2, let me extract the string from L plus 1 position. Now, how many characters would be remaining? Would be equal to N minus L plus 1. L plus 1 is all the characters before the @ sign. So N minus L plus 1 minus the .com. I am not interested to extract the last four characters also. So I will have to take this equation. You can work this out manually. Take a sample string, a sample email like this, a proper email, and try to calculate this thing. You should actually get the correct value. And finally, I will extract the last four characters because they need to be what? .com compulsorily, right? So that's my string 1, 2, and 3. Along with this, I need the length of the first substring. I need the length of the second substring. Counters are initialized to 0. So I think we are done for the beginning section. I can safely now start writing the for loop. Okay, now in the string, the first character is going to be an uppercase alphabet. So my for loop is written for this section. Now in this section, I'm going to check whether it is an alphabet or digit or underscore. Now, if I include the first character, then possibly if you have entered a digit or an underscore, then it will be counted as correct. So I will skip this first character, and that is why I'm going to start my loop not from 0, but I'll start it from 1. So till a length of the first string, and I++. I'm going to extract this. Mm, sorry, that's a first string. Now, since we have used a lot many characters, variables here, we'll have to be a little extra precautious. So the first thing is x should be greater than equal to a, and x is less than equal to z. If you know how to write in functions, you can always go ahead and create functions and pass in parameters saying that you want to check whether it is an alphabet or a digit or a combination, or you can use a regular expression straight away there, and you can um, okay, and finally we need to check whether it is an underscore or not, right? So if this is the case, I'm going to add 1 to the counter of username. So that's my first for loop. Now first for loop has excluded the first character, so what I'll do is I will extract the first character from the original string only, because that's the first character. Whether it's from the substring or the original string, the first character is still going to remain first in the substring as well as the original. So my first character is also taken out. I have checked from the second character and onwards here. I will just copy and paste this code. Make sure that when you are copying, you're making changes. Now for the second part, that is the domain name, we want to check whether it is all alphabets, and that I want to check every character. So I'm not going to start it from 1, I'm going to start it from 0. The length of that second substring is n2 and the second substring is s2, and I want to just make sure that it is n alphabets. So I'm going to do away with the rest of the conditions, and I will add 1 to the domain counter. So far so good. The last part is the decision making. This is going to be a little tricky. So the first thing is that the value of n length should match the value of the counter, that is for the first section excluding the first character, plus the counter of domain, plus now how many characters we have skipped. These are 4 characters plus 1 5 plus 1 6. They have not been accounted for in the counter of a username and counter of domains. I'll just check that it is 6. So n should match these counters. So if there is no match here, then we obviously know one of the counter was counted less, which means in one of the sections, either before the add or after the add, there is a character which is not in the character set. So that is the first thing. Second thing I would want to check is that the counter of username, right? So counter of username is counting from 1 to n1. Now n1, say n1 is 5, then we are checking for only 4 characters here. So counter of u should be equal to n1 minus 1, or you can say n1 is equal to counter of u plus 1. Either ways, it gives the same understanding. The counter of d should be equal to the length of the second string. Okay, and n1 should be greater than 0, which means that there is at least one character before the at sign, and the substring between @ and .com should be greater than 0. So I think yes, we are good to go. Most of the conditions have been accounted for. So just a quick check. I have checked the length of the entire string. I've checked the length of substrings. Oh, we have missed out on one portion. The portion is the first character is not accounted for, and the last 4 characters have not been checked. Okay, so I'm going to check the first character, which was in C1. We'll have to check whether it is A to Z or not. Right, so that is done. And one more condition, the substring 3 was not checked, so I need to check that as well. That completes the definition. Let us try. If something is missed out, we need to account that into our condition, but hopefully this should work. So, okay, capital alphabets are required. So I'll just put in A 1 to 3. So what is the length? 6 and 4, 10 and 5, 15. So the length of this thing is 15. Let's see. Looks like there are a lot of syntax mistakes. We need to identify them. So yes, the first mistake is the index of. The function is index of, not index. And okay, we need a space. I made a mistake with the greater than, less than. All right. And yes, we cannot write this garbage here. It has to be something which is JavaScript syntax, right? So let me now see whether this works. Okay, so it says correct. Now if I try to enter some other, maybe an alphabet or something, it should still say correct. If I try to enter some character which is a non-alphabet, non-character set character, it says incorrect, fine. So that's acceptable. I'm going to put in something here that's incorrect, great. So after this, let me try. So it says incorrect, right? So I'm getting all the outputs correct with the, okay, what if I enter just an A? So it says correct, fine. So my code is working fine for all the situations. So far, so good. So go ahead and try this out and make sure you don't make the same mistakes that I have made with the definition. You need to be very careful when you're writing these syntaxes, especially when you're speaking something, you're writing something else. It's not acceptable. Right, so go ahead and try this definition, and in the next video, I'll catch you with a new solution.